let me just show y'all what I'm doing tonight. I've got I'm standing in one of the rows between my raised beds, and I've made a video in the past about free composting space. And what I'm doing is I'm composting sawdust and lawn clippings, typically, in the walking paths of my garden. And the reason I do stuff like that, especially the sawdust, is because it's not something that's going to get soupy and nasty if it's wet, and it's not something that I'm going to have to worry about. You know, I don't want to step in it like rotten vegetables or whatever, and I don't want to have the stink. Sawdust doesn't really smell all that bad when it's composting. So what I'm doing tonight is I put out a bunch of cedar sawdust, probably, oh, it was whenever I made that video, I guess. Shoot, I guess it was maybe last fall around this time, around December. I can't remember, maybe back in January. I can't remember for sure. But it's pretty much all disappeared. I mean, you can still see the kind of redness there. There's some, so it's not all composted down really, but it's pretty well packed down. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through and I'm turning all these paths. I'm just turning them over. I'm turning that cedar sawdust, what's left of it, down into the soil, bring the soil up to the top, and then I'll show you over here. I've got a bag, and this is a, oh, I don't know, 40-gallon trash bag full of pine sawdust, pine shavings. This is from my garage. I catch everything off of my planer. So this is all, you know, decent sized shavings. I would like to use it for chicken bedding, but it's real dusty. It's got a lot of fines in it, and I don't want to have the chickens getting respiratory problems. So I won't use it in the chicken coop, but I will compost it on the garden. There's no sense in throwing it away. So I'm going to put this down, but like I said, first I'm going to go through, I'm going to turn these rows under. You can see there's still quite a bit of it, but that's because it was sitting underneath this white shelf all summer, so it didn't really compost down any. And I'm going to turn them under, and while I'm doing it, I'm also going to get these weeds out, because I've got this real nasty grass that it really comes in here, and it's been setting up in the paths, and then it falls over and it gets in the raised bed and been rooting in the raised bed. So I'm going to try to get all that ripped out too. And then I'm going to put down this sawdust. So I'll show you what it looks like. So easy enough. I just went through, I kind of dragged back or raked back the surface layer of the stuff that was rotted down pretty good. And with that, I pulled up any of the weeds and stuff that I found. And I went ahead and dumped all that in the compost pile. And that was about, maybe 15 gallons. And very loose. I mean, you know, I just give you gallons because I've got a 15-gallon pot. I don't know what I did with it now. That's that pink pot sitting there that I used just because I didn't have my scoop shovel out here, but that I filled up with that stuff and threw it on the compost pile. And then I just went through here and just dumped out my shavings. Now, something else I've learned with this garden about trying to keep things tidy is you want to avoid having spaces that you can't get to or readily work on, because that's where your weeds are going to grow, and then they're going to get out of hand and they're going to get out in the rest of your stuff. And what I've got is here at the end of this row, I've got this third of a barrel, and this is from when I tried to grow potatoes in a barrel, which did not work for me at all. I got nothing out of it except a bunch of green vines. And got some birdhouse gourds. Those are actually from summer of 2012, I guess, and it's now December of 2013, and they're in good shape actually. They're hollow and dried out like they need to be. Got a little bit of mold on them, but they're not rotted. And I need to turn them into birdhouses for purple martins, but that's a different story. Anyway, this blue tub's been sitting here, and it's got some dirt in the bottom of it, but I've got these weeds growing up behind it, and they get down in these little cracks and crevices and take root, and I can't get to them very easy to clean them out. Now, just outside this fence, that's my blackberry row that I've been working on. You can see the dirt. That's all dirt turned up there. I got that weeded out and finished up. I guess I didn't make a video about that, but that's alright. It's no big deal. All I was doing was cleaning grass out of a row of blackberries, so not really video noteworthy, but came across a couple more volunteers along the way, so that was fun. Anyway, I'm going to get these gourds at least moved, at least just piled off over here in this bed out of the way, and get this barrel pulled up and get the dirt dumped out of it, and try to get the rest of this row cleaned up so I've got my row back. And you know, I might see about future-wise building a rail right across here and making another couple of square feet there to grow plants in. Another couple of square feet over there at the end of that row, because I don't really need that space to walk necessarily, and it could give me, at least enough space for, a big tomato plant or something like that. Whereas right now it's not being utilized; it's just kind of dead space at the end of the row. So anyway, like I said, got the sawdust spread out. One more note about the sawdust is it is a little problematic in that it's really fluffy. And so if you walk out here in your garden in sandals or something like that, you're going to walk back in the house with your shoes full of sawdust. So until it gets rained on a couple times and kind of compacts down, it will be a little fluffy. But boy, it makes for a nice looking road, doesn't it? Nice black compost, nice pine sawdust, and black compost. Makes real nice contrast. Makes it look pretty. I ought to show my wife. She'd like that. She likes when I keep things looking pretty. So anyway, that's it for this video. See ya.